Hello and thanks for joining us for our afternoon edition of Arirang News. I'm Mark Brim. It's 5 p.m. on Monday, April 5th here in Seoul, South Korea. It's wonderful having you with us today. We start with the COVID-19 situation in South Korea. The country on Monday reported under 500 new infections for the first time in 6 days, but with the possibility of a fourth wave looming and word of a variant spreading locally, health officials remain deeply concerned. Kim Youn-jung starts us off.
South Korea's Disease Control and Prevention Chief forecasts the daily new COVID-19 infections in the country may surpass the current 500 level this week.
The basic reproduction number of the virus exceeded 1 last week and stood at 1.07, so we are expecting to see daily infections higher than the current 500.
A reproduction number of over 1 means the disease is expanding in new population groups at an increasing rate, while a R0 of less than 1 means the spread is declining. Health authorities also announced on Monday that they have discovered the first domestically transmitted case of the more transmissible South Africa COVID-19 variant in South Korea. With 41 new variant cases, the South African and UK variants confirmed today, the total caseload stands at 330 for South Korea. South Korea on Monday reported 473 new coronavirus patients, 449 of which were local transmissions. The virus tally slightly simmered down to below 500 for the first time in 6 days, but most likely on the account of fewer testings over the weekend. The Greater Seoul area continues to see the majority of the local transmissions, with a caseload at 276. Last week, Seoul City alone saw 154 new infections a day on average, an uptick from the preceding week's average, which stood at 122. The latest developments are raising concern for the nation's health authorities of a fourth wave of infections in this country. In an effort to curb the nationwide spike, the government will announce new social distancing measures this Friday, which will take effect from next Monday. Also, the government starting this Monday will show little leniency to those defying prevention guidelines. Businesses will be fined up to $265 and individuals up to $88 if they do not take heed of measures. Kim Youn-jung, Arirang News.
Now, as a follow-on from that report from this week, any customers violating COVID-19 prevention measures at public facilities here in South Korea will be fined up to $880. The business owners themselves will be fined up to $2,600. Facilities must be frequently disinfected and a thorough track of entry logs must be kept. Individuals must also write their information or submit a QR code rather than one person in the group providing the info for everyone. People are also banned from eating in public places unless the facility has a designated eating area. A number of countries imposed even stricter lockdowns over the Easter weekend. The decisions come as the number of coronavirus cases around the world continues to surge despite the push for vaccinations. Youn Yuh-jung with the details.
With millions across Europe set to mark Easter Sunday under new lockdown measures, France and Italy have reimposed lockdowns. Over in France, as the country entered its third national COVID-19 lockdown, thousands of police officers were deployed across Paris on Sunday. This comes as the government announced last week that alcohol consumption in certain public areas would be banned. Police were seen handing out fines to people who did not wear masks or were consuming alcohol in places designated as high risk. However, churches were allowed to open and people are allowed to share an Easter meal at home with 2 other adults. Over in Italy, all regions are now in the red zone, the highest tier of restrictions, with the country facing a third wave of the virus. The country is seeing about 20,000 new cases a day, and all non-essential movement is now banned. With the 3-day nationwide lockdown in place since Saturday, St. Peter's Square was left empty for the second Easter in a row. Over in India, a number of states are now in lockdown as the country sees a huge resurgence in virus cases. On Sunday, the country reported 93,249 cases, as well as 513 deaths. The figure is the highest single-day spike since September. Ontario, which is Canada's most populous province, entered another lockdown, which will last for 28 days. The latest measures will still allow both essential and non-essential retailers to remain open, but with occupancy limits. Ontario, which had a month-long lockdown in December, has seen more than 2,000 cases a day, with a record number of patients in intensive care. Health experts warn warmer weather and more movement among people have led to a further spike in cases globally and could lead to further lockdown measures in other countries moving forward. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea is conducting a survey of Korean War-separated families to determine the number of survivors and demand for reunions with their loved ones in North Korea. Seoul's Unification Ministry said the survey, that will last from this Tuesday through the end of October, will cover around 48,000 people who have already applied for reunions, as well as new applicants. South Korea has been conducting the study every 5 years since 2011. In light of the pandemic, South Korea plans to establish several more video reunion centres nationwide on top of the 13 already in the Greater Seoul area. The two Koreas held their last face-to-face reunion of war-separated families in 2018. It is the end of an era. South Korean tech giant LG Electronics is shutting its mobile business for good. The company says the division that's been around for over a quarter of a century but has been losing money for years on end now will cease to be at the end of July. However, LG is keen to avoid massive job losses, instead redeploying the workers to LG's other subdivisions. Youn Yuh-jung reports.
Remember this? This LG rollable phone with the smoothly expanding screen made a splash at CES in January. Little did we know that that would be the last of it. After 26 years of staying in the business, South Korea's LG Electronics is shutting down its loss-making mobile division, a move that's set to make it the first major smartphone brand to completely withdraw from the market. The tech giant confirmed on Monday that it'll end production and sales of mobile phone products on July 31st. Instead, the company plans to focus resources on growth areas including EVs, smart homes, robotics, and artificial intelligence. Phones constituted 8.2% of LG sales last year, and there will be a short-term loss of revenue, but the company expects the closure to be financially favorable in the long run.
Currently, Samsung Electronics and Apple are the two most dominant players in the global smartphone market, and Chinese firms are growing fast. Amid rising competition, the company seems to have chosen to focus on electric cars, future mobility, and premium home appliances instead of mobile phones.
The company said the division's roughly 3,700 employees will be moved to other LG Electronics businesses and affiliates with industry sources, expecting partial transfers to its joint corporation with Magna International. Although LG was one of the pioneers in the market with a number of cell phone innovations, including ultra-wide-angle cameras, and at its peak in 2013, the world's third-largest smartphone manufacturer, its smartphone division has not made profit since the second quarter of 2015 and logged nearly 6 years of losses, totaling some $4.5 billion. The firm reportedly held talks over a potential sale, but negotiation failed due to big differences in valuing technology patents. LG Electronics made clear that it'll provide service support and software updates for customers of existing mobile products for a period of time to minimize any inconveniences. Youn Yuh-jung, Arirang News.
Now, carbon neutrality by the year 2050 has been recommitted to by South Korea's president on the occasion of the nation's Arbor Day. In a symbolic move on Monday, President Moon Jae-in, together with a group of elementary school students, planted trees where the nation's very first coal power plant used to stand.
그래서 많은 나라들이 지구 온난화를 막기 위해서 이 탄소 같은 온실가스를 줄이기로 합의를 했어요. 우리나라도 2050 탄소 중립을 선언해서 2050년까지 탄소 배출을 제로로 만든다라는 목표를 세웠습니다. 탄소 배출을 완전히 없앨 수는 없기 때문에 또 하나의 중요한 방법이 나무를 많이 심어서 탄소를 흡수하는 거예요.
A park is being built there now as a thermal power plant based on LNG has been built underground. The president also introduced a plan to plant 3 billion trees by 2050 to foster an urban forest. South Korean Oscar nominee Youn Yuh-jung has won Best Female Actor in the Supporting Role category at the 27th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards. Did so on Sunday, marking the first time a South Korean actress has achieved the feat. She won for her role as an unconventional grandmother in the film Minari. She beat off tough competition from contenders including Glenn Close and Olivia Colman. Pundits say Youn has a decent chance of winning Best Supporting Actress at the Academy Awards, where Minari has been nominated for 6 Oscars. Now, from skincare to electronics, you may soon be able to buy products enjoyed by Korean celebrities, even if you live in another country. 62 small and mid-sized Korean businesses are taking part in an online expo called Buy Korea, showcasing some items featured on Arirang TV programs. Organised by Korea's trade promotion agency, the 2-week-long expo, which opened Monday, invites international buyers to virtually check the products and liaise with local firms. Arirang TV has its own booth displaying products that were tried out by Korean celebrities and influencers on its programs such as K-Unboxing and K-Biz. Well, that's where we're going to leave the news and weather for now. Stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back with our next newscast at 7 p.m. Korea time. Until then, goodbye.